when it comes to 18-month-old Dominique Samaya Mangrum is not related to Andre and Venus Mangrum.
She'll tell you that her phone was off. Her phone went on. My bankroll was on swole, and I kept hers on swole as well, too.
Never. My phone bill was off of 2 months.
I'm sure glad your bankroll was on swole for baby Amelia, and just in case you end up being the father.
It did.
So what happened?
I got upset. Okay, well, actually, I sat down on the couch at first. I was like, So I handed her the phone. I was like, read this. So she reading it, you know. She kind of got a little look on her face or whatever. And I got up after that, and I went.
Tape 1, a tense family drama unfolded in Judge Lauren's courtroom when a couple arrived with their 2 young daughters, 8-month-old Alexis and 4-year-old Nirvana. The father, Mr. Harmo, accused his wife, Miss Stremke, of betraying him, claiming neither child was his. Miss Stremke, however, stood firm, insisting he was the biological father.
Miss Stremke, you've dragged Mr. Jaramillo to court in hopes of saving your family, which you claim is falling apart due to paternity denial. You say the defendant doubts paternity for both of your daughters, 4-year-old Naviana and 8-month-old Alexis, but you want to prove that he is their father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The confrontation played out in front of the children, much to Judge Lauren's dismay. Little Nirvana, known to be bright and perceptive, appeared to pick up on the tension, leaving her visibly confused about who her real father might be. The scene only deepened the cracks in their already fragile relationship.
Part because my daughters are basically growing up how I had to. We didn't have both parents, and even when we did have both parents present at different times, we were denied. I feel like they can't trust their dad because he denies that he's their dad half the time. And my 4-year-old Naviana knows. She can hear well, I'm not her dad anyway.
Through teary eyes, Miss Stremke recounted meeting Mr. Harmo at the age of 13 in a juvenile detention facility. Both had endured troubled childhoods, and she said she was determined to give her daughters a better life than the one she had known.
It's on the line now.
Yes.
How did it begin?
We met very young. I was 13. We met in a lockup facility. We were both staying at. We had no choice. We didn't have good childhoods at all, so we had to stay there. I see it now, and I don't want it to go down that road to where they have to go through what we did. And it's, sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Things became more complicated when the details of her first pregnancy were revealed. She admitted there had been multiple men in her life at the time, including the father of her son from a previous relationship, and another man she had been intimate with just weeks before reconnecting.
18 years old. He said that I was gonna, be his baby's mom a long time ago. And it's hurtful now that, yes, I am your daughter's mom. And it just gets shoved under a rug and forgotten about because he doesn't feel that those are his kids. I had just gotten out of a relationship with my son's father and had moved back to Iowa. Well, I ended up.
Friends close to her later informed Mr. Harmo that she had been involved with other men during that period, fueling his doubts about the children's paternity. This betrayal planted the seeds of mistrust that continued to grow over the years.
She called and decided to tell him that I was sleeping with multiple men, and from that point on, he had doubted it, which I really don't understand, because how can you base your daughter's paternity off of some girl you had never even met?
Well, it was one of your friends, you'd spent time with her.
What did she say to you exactly, Mr. Jaramillo?
She said that the baby that Miss Stremke had.
Evidence was presented showing that Mr. Harmo had signed Navina's birth certificate, initially embracing fatherhood in a moment of happiness. Over time, however, resentment crept in, and he began questioning whether he had made a mistake.
The biggest sign was cigarettes. Anybody that had smoked and came back in anywhere around me, I'd instantly throw up. And that's how I know really early on.
But what I want you to understand is that, he gets this call and somebody says, this is not your baby, this is the person she was with before you.
Yes.
It's his baby. That?
Miss Stremke revealed that she was content with having only one child, but her husband pushed for another, specifically a boy. She eventually agreed, and in an attempt to add excitement to their marriage, they experimented with threesomes. Shockingly, it was Mr. Harmo who brought in his own male friend to join them.
That's the part that is the hardest for me to believe, because I was done having kids. After I had a boy and I had a girl, I didn't want any more. I pushed my luck. I have a boy, a girl, they're both amazing kids, and there was a point in time where the whole paternity of Naviana was not brought up, and he was practically begging me for another child.
During the second encounter, no protection was used. Just 3 weeks later, she discovered she was pregnant with Alexis. Mr. Harmo admitted responsibility for the situation, but refused to sign the birth certificate, claiming the baby resembled his friend more than him.
We ended up having a female-female threesome with him, so he got to pick another woman, and it was what it was. We did it, and then it was maybe a couple weeks later it got brought up. It'd only be fair if we had a male, and you. So I said, okay, all right, that's fine. It's something new.
Despite the heavy accusations, both remained unusually calm during the hearing, a fact Judge Lauren acknowledged. But with neither willing to back down, it became clear that only one thing could settle the matter: the DNA results, the ultimate truth waiting to be revealed.
Mr. Jaramillo, you are the father.
Case 2, a grieving mother named Venus, 56, stepped into Judge Lauren's courtroom with one mission: to defend the name of her late son, Dominique, who was killed in a brutal shooting. Across from her stood Amber, a 21-year-old determined to prove Dominique was the father of her child.
You're here today after losing your son to a violent crime. You say the defendant, Ms. Schools, is claiming your deceased son is her child's father, which you say is impossible.
Yeah.
Ms. Schools, you say you have no doubt that Mr. Mangrum fathered your child, and today you will prove it to his family. How did you find out about Ms. Schools' pregnancy, Ms.
Venus claims she first heard of Amber's pregnancy on the very day her son passed. According to her, Amber approached her at the hospital with the news. Amber disputed this, insisting she had already reached out to Venus on Facebook before they met face to face.
Didn't want to hear it. No time. No, I just didn't want it.
So, Ms. Schools, is that how it happened?
No, it's not. I actually wrote her on Facebook and told her, I was like, hey, Miss Venus, my name is Amber. I'm actually downstairs. I was like, I don't know if Dominique told you or not, but I'm actually 3 months pregnant with his baby. I was like, I'm downstairs in the hospital.
Amber described being overwhelmed at the hospital, seeing Dominique connected to tubes and machines. She said Venus comforted her, assuring her things would be fine. Venus immediately denied this version, saying she had been too consumed with fear and grief to notice anyone else.
No,
Yes,
ma'am. No, ma'am. No, did not.
That didn't happen.
So sorry. No, I don't remember none of that. Now, the Facebook thing, okay, came after Dominique was already gone.
Right, but you got it. And you told me you got it.
And I wrote you back.
Before his death, Dominique had told his mother that multiple women, to be exact, were claiming to be pregnant by him. Venus admitted she knew 2 of these women, but had never heard Amber's name before.
I understand you.
Like
Yes, I do.
My son told me several times, okay, that there is about 3 or 4 girls who say they pregnant by him. Now, I knew about 2 of the girls, okay? I knew about 2 of the girls, but I never met Amber.
Amber insisted she kept Venus in the loop during the pregnancy, updating her on milestones and inviting her to the baby shower. Venus said she had offered prayers and even visited after the birth. But upon holding the child, she claimed she instantly knew he wasn't Dominique's, pointing to the baby's hair as proof.
He sent me little forwarded messages off Facebook with prayers and stuff, telling me she loved me, and you know she's coming to the hospital to see me and my baby and stuff like that. And she came and saw my baby for about a couple minutes. She came and sat there like the second day I had my daughter. She came to the hospital.
Frustrated, Venus said she was tired of revisiting this painful chapter and had come to court to end it for good. Her voice rose, and the argument between the 2 women escalated until Judge Lauren was forced to use her gavel to restore order.
All Mangrum babies had a head full of hair when they were born, every last one of them. You know, Amber, I apologize, you know, but I honestly did not want the baby to be his baby.
Why is that?
I did not, because I did not. Mine is of my baby.
Venus, eyes shimmering with tears, spoke about avoiding her son's Facebook page to cope with the loss. The judge noted that a beautiful baby was present in court that day. Amber mentioned that Dominique's father had always treated her kindly, prompting the judge to call him to the stand.
He did so much to me, like words, verbally. It was.
Ms. Schools, I have to say that I don't think you were trying to do anything malicious. I just think, unfortunately, this mother at that time could not process it all. Now her husband, Dominique's father.
Dominique's father testified that his son had introduced Amber to him during the pregnancy. Venus quickly interrupted, saying she had no knowledge of such a meeting. He remained firm, stating he believed what his son told him. Venus countered that an earlier DNA test had already proven Dominique wasn't the father.
It's just a fight, you know what I'm saying, between them, and it's like, I don't want to be in the middle of it. However it goes, I would still like to be around.
That test had been conducted on Dominique's body after his death, with paperwork shown to the judge. Amber questioned its accuracy, citing a blood transfusion. Venus claimed Amber had been living with another man during the pregnancy. Amber said she wanted a fresh DNA test to know for certain, leaving the entire courtroom waiting for the new results.
When it comes to 18-month-old Dominique Samaya Mangrum is not related to Andre and Venus Mangrum.
Case 3A, 48-year-old Bishop Mr. House stood before Judge Lauren accused by 20-year-old Miss Webster of being the father of her child. The judge noted Webster had been involved with 3 men at the time, and one of them 9 years older waited outside the courtroom.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Webster, you admit you were involved with 3 different men during the time you conceived your daughter, including Mr. House.
Yes.
Mr. House said their paths crossed after he accepted a new assignment in New York, and they bonded quickly over shared misfortunes. He insisted he never saw their relationship as anything like a committed partnership.
Jacksonville, moving to Buffalo, New York, taking on a new assignment as a pastor. I'm a bishop, but I'm also a traveling pastor. But I'm also a man. I want to stress that right away, that I'm a man and I have manly needs. So it doesn't mean that I won't see a woman, but I'm also a pastor.
Webster testified she'd been introduced to the bishop by her aunt for what was supposed to be a Bible study, but it turned intimate. Mr. House cut in, claiming their first meeting happened at a fast food restaurant where they exchanged numbers, a version Webster denied.
We could probably, make a relationship and go a little bit further as time went along.
So, Ms. Webster, please tell us a little bit about the relationship as you saw it.
We met through my aunt. We met at a church. It was supposed to have been like a Bible study thing, but instead of that, it was like more.
Judge Lauren stepped in to stop the bishop from using degrading language toward Webster. He bluntly called their encounters a hookup, which made the courtroom gasp, and Webster admitted it had been casual.
In Hosea chapter 4, God called Gomer a whore.
Well, we're not in Hosea chapter 4. We in paternity court, and I'm the judge, and in this courtroom, we're going to respect women. Now, you can tell the story without calling her name.
Webster also told the court she had been sleeping with her long-term boyfriend, Miles Jones, at the same time. Miles was called to testify and said their relationship began casually before growing serious, and he wasn't aware she was seeing others.
Andre Miles Jones.
Mr. Miles Jones. All right, we are here with Ms. Webster, and of course, we are discussing the paternity as it relates to little Emilion.
Yes.
So was this a relationship or was this just casual sex? What were you guys doing?
It was, at first it started off as casual sex for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I started catching feelings.
When Webster discovered she was pregnant, she said she tried to contact Mr. House, but his phone was off. After the baby was born, she claimed the bishop offered no support, and Miles stepped in to buy diapers and help care for the child.
She'll tell you that her phone was off. Her phone went on. My bankroll's on spoiled, and I kept hers on spoiled as well, too.
Never. My phone bill was off of 2 months.
I'm sure glad your bankroll is on swole for baby Emilion, just in case you end up being the father.
Mr. House countered that he only learned of the pregnancy about 30 days earlier when Webster's aunt informed him, and he came immediately.
Less than 30 days ago at the most that she had a baby. Her auntie called my superiors in my organization, and I got a phone call saying there's some woman saying that you left her with child in New York. I made the phone call, and I was told 30 days ago, just 30 days.
Miles testified he heard about the pregnancy after 5 to 6 months and had been told he was the father, while Webster admitted she told him there was a possibility someone else might be. Mr. House seized on that uncertainty to express his doubts, prompting murmurs in the courtroom.
I said, how long? She was like, I'm about 5 to 6 months. I said, so you trying to tell me that it's mine? She said
5 to 6 months before you told him?
Well, I was
so
4 to 5 months.
I didn't know it all.
So when you told him, I'm pregnant, did you then tell him, and you're the father?
No, I told him it's a possibility that he can be my baby's father.
Webster produced the birth certificate, which named no father, though the child bore Miles's last name. The bishop asked why she'd contacted him if she was happy with Miles, and Webster said she needed clarity. Judge Lauren ordered a court-ordered DNA test, the only thing that will finally settle paternity.
Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father. Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
Case 4. Mr. Alexander appeared in Judge Lauren's courtroom seeking to have his name removed from his ex-girlfriend, Miss Stewart's child's birth certificate. He insisted he wasn't the father, while Miss Stewart argued his neglect had left her and her children without a home.
Mr. Alexander, you are suing your ex-girlfriend for $40 for the cost of the administration fee to legally remove your name from her 4-month-old daughter, Jariah's birth certificate, because there is absolutely no way you are her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
According to Mr. Alexander, Alexander, his doubts stem from Miss Stewart's alleged affair with a man named Dexter during the time of conception. He claimed she was also staying out late frequently, which only deepened his suspicion.
Text messages and several calls from this guy named Dexter. She wouldn't answer the phone when I was in the room. I guess she would wait until maybe I left or whatever, so that's kind of a suspicion for me.
So you saw text messages coming in on her phone?
Right.
But you never questioned her about it?
Yeah, I asked her about it, and she told me, like, don't worry about it, like, basically, like, it's none of my business.
Miss Stewart disputed that version, saying she didn't even inform him about the pregnancy until 2.5 months in. She admitted they were having relationship issues, but denied his claim that they had been separated.
That's why I'm in doubt, too.
Because this was during the window of conception.
Right.
So you feel like she was cheating on you during the time Jariah was conceived.
Correct.
Is that true, Miss Stewart?
No, Your Honor, it is not. And I'm not even sure why he denies. I mean, I didn't tell him.
She further testified that they were still intimate during this so-called break and accused Mr. Alexander of being the unfaithful one. To prove her suspicion, she had secretly installed a tracker on his phone and claimed it revealed he was cheating.
I don't understand how he doesn't say that. Every time we're on a break, it's not necessarily a break because we still have sex, so it's not really a break.
So were you cheating?
No, Your Honor, I was not. Let me tell you what happened. So I started feeling that he was cheating on me.
Miss Stewart presented this evidence in court, and the messages were displaying for everyone to see. Mr. Alexander rejected the claim outright, insisting the texts weren't his.
When he was gone, he told me that he was at his aunt's house, and obviously you can see there he's talking to a girl right there.
So at 7:08 p.m., his phone got a text from a number that's not yours that says, "I'm looking forward to tonight."
In a twist, Miss Stewart confessed she had fabricated the conversations with Dexter to make him jealous. She revealed Dexter was actually a female friend, and the name change was part of her ruse insisting she never cheated.
Fine booty.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Miss Stewart, I'm trying to understand what this all has to do with Dexter, because if we're being completely honest, even if this is his phone log and he was going after someone else or dating someone else or cheating, not have anything to do with the paternity of Jariah.
Mr. Alexander countered by bringing his sister to testify. A longtime friend of Miss Stewart, she claimed Dexter was indeed a real man and that Miss Stewart had been romantically involved with him, even going out with other men in the past. Miss Stewart flatly denied it.
Stewart and I have been friends for over 15 years, and we've always talked and told each other secrets about, having backup plans as far as if you have a boyfriend, keeping one on the side for when your boyfriend makes you mad, you can, just go talk to other guys or whatever. So as far as this guy goes, it's not a hoax. They actually hang out all the time.
Mr. Alexander then recalled an earlier fight where Miss Stewart allegedly admitted the baby wasn't his. When Judge Lauren asked, Miss Stewart acknowledged making the comment, but said it was only once, in anger, because she wished they could part ways.
They're separate ways.
Recently, yes, we have. They just had a little break also, and she thought he was cheating, so we went out to go hang out with guys.
She's also told me several times that when we be in the heat of an argument, that the baby's not mine.
I said that one time.
Therefore, I have doubt.
Miss Stewart said she has been raising the child alone, while Mr. Alexander maintained he wouldn't support a baby he wasn't certain was his. He affirmed his role as a loving father to their first child, but not the second. Now, only the DNA test results could determine the truth.
Alexander, you are her father.
Case 5, after 12 years together, Brandon's world came crashing down when his fiancée, Miss Fuller, revealed that their 3-year-old son might not be his. The confession ended their engagement, leaving Brandon devastated and fearful of losing the boy he had raised. Miss Fuller admitted she'd been seeing another man during that time, but had kept it from him.
3-year-old son Brandon Jr. may not be your biological child. Now you say your engagement to Miss Fuller is broken off and your heart is in ruins because of the possibility you may now lose your son too.
Yes, Your Honor.
Brandon explained that when their son was 6 months old, they had to relocate, and during that period, they separated. One day, after taking the child to a birthday party, he returned to find Miss Fuller gone. She didn't answer her phone for days.
Because we had to move.
So you all were in a relationship.
We were in a relationship.
Baby was what? Born.
Yep. And we were living together.
6 months in.
6 months in, we had to move. We fell on some hard times.
Okay.
Respectively, I moved back to my mom's.
About a week later, Brandon received repeated calls from a blocked number. It turned out to be Miss Fuller, asking to meet in person. She admitted she had spent the week with the man she believed could be the child's biological father.
He asked you on the phone, or he said, meet me and I want to talk about this?
He asked me on the phone. He was mad at me and he was upset. He was wondering where we had been that whole week.
Where were you that whole week?
I had left to go be with the guy that I thought.
Miss Fuller even brought a photo of the other man, saying the child's features were beginning to resemble his. Consumed with guilt, she said she didn't want to deceive Brandon any longer, so she had vanished to sort out her feelings.
Why would you just disappear? Where did you go?
He started looking like the other guy to me when he was 6 months. I have a picture. To
So
me, he just didn't look.
Okay, now
He didn't
the
look like
pieces are
neither
coming
one.
together.
He didn't look
Pieces are
like
coming together.
he didn't look like neither one of us to me at the time.
Brandon countered with his own photos, showing how deeply involved he had been in his son's life. He fed him, cared for him, and proudly gave him his last name. He said he never once doubted his paternity until that moment.
Baby is named after you.
Oh yeah.
It's your son.
Sleeping on my chest at night, just everything. I mean, I barely move. I mean, you know, like I would sleep like this, real quiet, real.
Things took a darker turn when Brandon discovered private Facebook messages after Miss Fuller forgot to log out of her account on his phone. In them, she told the other man that the child didn't look like Brandon and asked for his help, hinting at plans she now regretted.
He was born. It's just like, I gotta stop.
Brandon Jr. is 3 now.
3.
So you spent the next 2.5 years continuing.
Yeah.
To bond.
Yeah, and then we had a falling out, like serious falling out. He got on social media on my phone, okay, but didn't close it.
The revelation sparked a loud and ugly argument that escalated so badly the neighbors called the police to report a domestic disturbance.
It did.
So what happened?
I got upset, okay? Well, actually, I sat down on the couch at first. I was like, So I handed her the phone. I was like, read this. So she reading it, you know, she kind of got a little look on her face or whatever. And I got up after that, and I went to the washer. And I started taking.
Miss Fuller told the court she'd been in an on and off relationship with the other man for 8 years, right up to the time her child was conceived. She presented a calendar outlining her involvement with both men and claimed she hadn't expected to have children at all, calling her son a miracle.
It was off and on for about 8 years or whatever. Around the time
It went on for how long?
It was like 8 years off and on, but it wasn't like
8 years off and on?
Yes.
Oh, until what time?
Brandon said he never knew another man was in the picture. Through tears, Miss Fuller apologized, saying Brandon was the ideal father for her child, unlike the other man. But Brandon reminded her that she ended the engagement and there might be no reconciliation. Now, only a DNA test could reveal the truth.
Mr. Brandon Robinson Sr., you are his father.